Good morning, children. Here in today's class, we will solve some of the textbook exercise questions as we have finished all the topics in the chapter 3, that is atoms and molecules. Okay. So before going to the exercises, first I want you to revise compound and their ratio by mass. This we have already studied when we were covering the topic law of chemical combination. You know that according to second law of chemical combination, that is law of constant composition and definite proportion, when two or more elements combine or reacts to form one or more compound, then they combine or react in a fixed ratio by mass and in constant composition. What do you mean by fixed ratio by mass? You know that if you, let's say if you have water is a compound and its chemical formula is H2O, and to form water you need two elements, that is hydrogen and oxygen. So the two elements when combined they will form water, but hydrogen and oxygen, the elements, the combining elements, they do not combine in any ratio by mass. They have their ratio fixed, that is 1:8 by mass. So what do you mean by fixed ratio? That means if you have 1 gram of hydrogen, it will react only with 8 grams of oxygen only, and then only you can wish to form water molecule. Okay? That means 1 gram of hydrogen combined with 8 grams of oxygen to form 1 mole of water, or 1 AMU of hydrogen reacts with 8 AMU of oxygen to form 1 molecule of water. If you have more oxygen here but you have only 1 gram of hydrogen here, then 1 gram of oxygen will react with only 8 grams of oxygen out of, if you have more oxygen more than 8 grams. Okay. Let's say if you have 16 grams of oxygen but you have only 1 gram of hydrogen. So 1 gram of hydrogen will utilize only 8 gram of oxygen out of 16 grams of oxygen to form 1 mole of water. Because the ratio is fixed, 1 gram of oxygen will react only with 8 grams of oxygen. If you wish to utilize all the 16 grams of oxygen in the reaction, then you need how much gram of hydrogen? You need 2 grams of hydrogen. So 16 gram of oxygen will react with 2 grams of hydrogen to form 1 mole of water. Because if you see, it ultimately gives you the ratio 1:8 by mass. So ratio is always fixed. So here in ammonia also, if you see, chemical formula is NH3, and here the combining elements are nitrogen and hydrogen. So nitrogen and hydrogen, these elements will combine in a fixed ratio, that is 14:3 by mass to form ammonia. Okay. They will always react in a fixed ratio only. Okay. Now carbon dioxide, CO2. Here the combining elements are carbon and oxygen. So 3 grams of carbon reacts or combines with only 8 grams of oxygen only to form 1 mole of carbon dioxide, or 3 AMU of carbon reacts with 8 AMU of oxygen only to form 1 molecule of carbon dioxide. Let's say if you are given 10 grams of oxygen, okay, 10 grams of oxygen, but you have only 3 grams of carbon here. So 3 grams of carbon will react with only 8 grams of oxygen only, and remaining 2 grams of oxygen will be left as it is, unused. Okay, so 3 grams of carbon reacts only with 8 grams of oxygen only out of 10 gram of oxygen to form carbon dioxide. So here we can see that here one of the combining element acts as the limiting element. It limits the reaction. How? You can see here 3 grams of carbon is supposed to combine with only 8 grams of oxygen. So here carbon is limiting the mass of oxygen, that is to 8 grams. So here the limiting element is, or limiting reagent is here carbon, which limits the reaction here, that is in the ratio of 3:8 by mass. Similarly, you can see calcium oxide. In calcium oxide, combining elements are calcium and oxygen, and they both combine in the ratio 5:2 by mass. If I say you by mass, so mass, you know, we can indicate mass in grams or in AMU. Okay, so if 5 AMU of calcium reacts with 2 AMU of oxygen, it will form 1 molecule of calcium oxide. Or if 5 grams of calcium reacts with 2 grams of oxygen, then we will form 1 mole of calcium oxide. But ratio again will be fixed, that is 5:2 by mass. Okay. Now magnesium sulfide. Here you can see the combining elements are magnesium and sulfur. Okay. Magnesium and sulfur, and they combine the ratio 3:4 by mass. Similarly, sodium chloride, NaCl. Here sodium and chlorine are the combining elements, and they react in the ratio 23:35.5 by mass. Okay. Now you would have one question in mind, that how did we get the ratio? So during our previous classes, when we were dealing with this topic, I told you that ratio by mass we can calculate by calculating the molecular mass of any compound. Let's say if you want to know the ratio of combining elements of water, so for that you should first calculate the molecular mass of water. So molecular mass of water can be calculated, you know, 2 into atomic mass of hydrogen plus atomic mass of oxygen. So it is like 2 into 1 plus 16. So 2U plus 16U. So here you can see that the combining elements hydrogen and oxygen, they will combine in this ratio only, it is 2:16 by 16:16U. Okay, and when you solve or you simplify this, you will get 8U:8U. So the ratio is U again will get cancelled. Okay, so you are getting the ratio 1:8. Okay, so 1U and 1U of hydrogen and 8U of oxygen will give you 1 molecule of water. Molecular mass of water means what? Mass of 1 molecule of water. Okay, and if you want to get 1 mole of water, then you have to combine 1 gram of oxygen with 8 grams of 1 gram of hydrogen with 8 grams of oxygen. Then only you can get 1 mole of water. Okay, and if you wish to get 1 molecule of water, then you want 1U of hydrogen with 8U of oxygen to form 1 molecule of water. So like that you can calculate for ammonia also. For that you should First calculate the molecular mass of ammonia. From that you can get the ratio. Similarly, for not for this compound but for every compound you have studied till now, you can get the fixed ratio of that by mass. Okay, now we will see some exercise questions. First questions we have already discussed in our previous class. Now second questions, these are the questions which are given just we finished the topics, and in the last part, whatever the exercise questions are there, I am dealing with those questions only. Okay, so second question is, when 3.0 gram of carbon is burnt in 8.0 gram of oxygen, then 11 gram of carbon dioxide is produced. Okay, what mass of carbon dioxide will be formed when 3 gram of carbon is burnt in 50.0 gram of oxygen? Okay, and what law of chemical combination will govern your answer? So here just we'll see what is given. 3 gram of carbon is burnt with 8 gram of oxygen and 11 gram of carbon dioxide is produced. It means the two combining or reacting elements are carbon and oxygen, and compound is formed. What is that? Carbon dioxide. So we will just write carbon is reacting with oxygen, and you can write here carbon is reacting with oxygen and forming what? Carbon dioxide. Okay, so here 3 grams of carbon, here 3 grams of carbon is burnt in 8 grams of oxygen. So here we have taken 8 grams, then 11 grams of carbon dioxide is formed. Okay, so 3 grams reacting with 8 gram to form 11 gram. Okay, so here it is according to the first law of chemical combination, that is law of conservation of mass. Total number of reactant, total amount of reactant will be equal to total amount of product. Total mass of reactant and total mass of product will be same. So if we added 3 plus 8, they are getting 11 here. 11 gram of carbon and oxygen completely are getting used in the reaction to form the product carbon dioxide, which is again will be in 11 gram only. So there is no change in the mass of reactant and product. That is, before the reaction the mass was conserved, and after the reaction also the mass is constant, mass is conserved. Okay, now the question is asking here, when what mass of carbon dioxide is formed? So again here it is asking to calculate mass of carbon dioxide when 3.0 gram of carbon is burnt in 50 gram of oxygen. So here when 3 gram of carbon is burnt in 50 gram of oxygen. So 50 gram of oxygen this time we have taken. Okay, then what mass of carbon dioxide? So we have to calculate the mass of carbon dioxide. Okay, now here we cannot just add up 50 plus 3 gram and forms here 53 grams of carbon. It is not at all going to be done like that, because just now we have talked about the fixed mass. So when you are expecting to form carbon dioxide, then you should first see here in the reactant side that whatever the reacting elements or combining elements are there, they will only combine in a fixed ratio. So you know that carbon and oxygen, when forms carbon dioxide, then carbon and oxygen will always react in the ratio 3:8 by mass. Okay, so now 3:8 by mass means you have 3 grams of carbon. So it should react with how many grams of oxygen? It will again react with 8 grams of, you can write here 3 grams will react here with 8 grams of oxygen out of 50 gram of oxygen. Understood? So from oxygen only 8 gram will get used for forming carbon dioxide. Other or rest of 42 grams of oxygen will be unused in the reaction. It will not be utilized in the reaction, because 3 gram of carbon is capable of reacting with only 8 gram of oxygen only, and not more than that, to form again. So you can see here 3 gram of carbon is utilizing only 8 grams of oxygen, and now it is forming again 11 gram of CO2. Okay, so here if you have 50 gram of oxygen also and you are given 3 grams of carbon, then again it will form 11 gram of carbon dioxide. You can just see 3 grams reacts with 8 grams of oxygen to form 11 gram, and 3 grams of carbon with 50 gram of oxygen again gives you 11 gram of carbon dioxide, because here out of 50 gram of oxygen only 8 grams are getting used in the reaction. Other or rest of 42 grams are unused in the reaction. It will be as it is. Okay, so here you can see 3 grams of carbon. So here we can just write here that carbon is the limiting element. Okay, carbon is what? Carbon is here the limiting element, okay, which limits the reaction. Okay, so 3 grams of carbon reacts with 8 gram of oxygen out of 50 gram of oxygen to form 11 gram of CO2. Now one more question is here, what law of chemical combination will govern your answer? So again here we can just write second law of chemical combination. Okay, that is law of constant composition and definite proportion will govern our answer, because according to second law, carbon and oxygen will react only in a definite proportion by mass, that is 3:8 by mass. Okay, so like that you have to answer this question. Okay, now second question in this exercise is, what are polyatomic ions? Give examples. You know that polyatomic ion is made up of more than 2 atoms having net charge on it. So any ion which is made up of 2 or more atoms having net positive or negative charge on it, now those type of ions are called as polyatomic ions. Poly means more than 2. Okay, so example you can just write phosphate PO4. Here you can see 1 atom of phosphorus and 4 atoms of oxygen having 1 negative, 1 minus charge or 1 net negative charge on it. Okay, similarly hydrogen carbonate ion, where you can see 1 hydrogen, 1 carbon and 3 oxygen, total 5 atoms are there having one net negative charge on it. Similarly, carbonate ion, you can see 2 net negative charge it has, this carbonate ion, and it is made up of 4 atoms, that is 1 atom of carbon and 3 atoms of oxygen. Similarly, in ammonium ion, you have 1 net positive charge on it, and this ammonium ion is also a polyatomic ion because it is made up of more than 2 atoms, it is 5 atoms. You can just see 1 atom of nitrogen, 4 atoms of hydrogen, forming 5 atoms and having 1 net positive charge on it. So polyatomic ion is made up of more than 2 atoms having net positive or negative charge on it. They are called as polyatomic ions. We will see some homework questions. We will solve it here. You just check it out whether you have done in a correct method or not. Okay, the first question is, what are the percentage composition of hydrogen and oxygen in water? This question was based on the video whatever I gave you in the previous class. So to calculate the percentage composition of hydrogen and oxygen in water, you have to first calculate the total mass of hydrogen and total mass of oxygen. Okay, so first you should write what is the molecular formula of molecular mass of water. So molecular mass of water can be calculated by just 2 into atomic mass of hydrogen, that is 1 U, plus atomic mass of oxygen, that is 16 U. We'll get 2 plus 2 into 1, that is 2U plus 16U, and we are getting here 18U. Okay, so you can just write as total mass of hydrogen. What is the total mass of hydrogen we got from the molecular mass? Total mass of hydrogen we got 2U, so we can write here total mass of hydrogen is 2U, and total mass of oxygen, from here we have got total mass of oxygen as 16U, and molecular mass of water also we have got, that is 18U. Okay, now to calculate the percentage composition of hydrogen, we have to individually find out. First we will find out the percentage composition of hydrogen in water, and we will then find out percentage composition of oxygen in water. So percentage of hydrogen by mass in water, or percentage composition of hydrogen by mass in water, is equal to, we'll write total mass of hydrogen divided by molecular mass of water into 100. Okay, the total mass of hydrogen we have calculated, it is 2U, divided by molecular mass of water, it is how much we have got, 18U into 100. So how much we will get? We will get here 11.1. So percentage of hydrogen in water we have got 11.1%. Okay, similarly we will find out percentage of oxygen, percentage composition of oxygen by mass in water. So it will go like that, is equal to total mass of oxygen in water divided by molecular mass of water into 100. Total mass of oxygen also we have calculated from the molecular mass, 16U, we will write 16U divided by molecular mass of water, we know 18 as before, so 18U into 100, and here we will get 88.9%. So percentage composition of oxygen by mass in water we have got 88.9%. Okay, so percentage of oxygen is equal to 11.1%, and percentage of hydrogen is equal to 88.9%. Total we are getting how much? We are getting here 100%. That means whatever we have calculated is correct. Some of you have written here 11%, and here you have just adjusted the value to 89%. So that is also correct. If you have made accurate, if you have ignored the point values and you have written 11 and 89, so that is also correct only. Okay, so this is about the first question. The second question was, zinc blend ZNS is an important ore of zinc. Okay, now what is the amount of sulfur present in 24.35 gram of pure zinc blend? Zinc blend is nothing but zinc sulfide, and it is in an important ore of zinc. That means important ore of zinc means what? From this zinc blend we can profitably isolate zinc metal. That is why it is called as the important ore of zinc. Okay, so here in the question it is asking to find out the amount of sulfur present in 24.35 gram of pure zinc blend. Okay, now also calculate the percentage of sulfur by weight in 24.3 gram of pure zinc blend. Okay, so when we will get the amount of sulfur, then we will find out the percentage of sulfur in that very gram of the zinc blend. Okay, so in the question I give you the atomic mass of zinc, that is 65.4 U, and atomic mass of sulfur, that is 32 U. So this will help us in calculating the mass of zinc and mass of sulfur. So in given, what is given here, total mass of zinc blend is given, that is 24.35 gram. Now to go further, first we have to calculate the molecular mass of zinc sulfide or zinc blend. So molecular mass of zinc blend can be calculated by adding up the atomic mass of zinc, that is 65.4 U, plus sulfur, atomic mass of sulfur, how much it is, 32 U. So total, if you will see, we will get here 97.4 U. So from the molecular mass of zinc blend, we can just write molar mass or mass of 1 mole of zinc sulfide or zinc blend. So just we will write here, it will be 97.4 gram. Okay, and from this we will find out the mass of zinc. So mass of zinc, you know, this is mass of zinc. So we can write here just 65.4 gram instead of U, and here mass of sulfur, total mass of sulfur will be how much, 32 gram. Okay, now the question is to find out amount of sulfur present in 24.35 gram of pure zinc blend. So what we have got now, we have got the molar mass of zinc blend 97.4 gram. In that, how much zinc is present, 65.4 gram, and in the 97.4 gram of zinc blend, 32 gram of sulfur is present. Okay, when you add up these two, you will get 97.4 gram. Okay, full how much it is, 97.4 gram. So we can just write one sentence that 97.4 gram of zinc blend contains how much sugar, sulfur, 32 gram. So we can write 32 gram of sulfur. What we have to find out? We have to find out amount of sulfur present in 24.3 gram of pure zinc blend or zinc sulfide. So 97.4 gram of zinc sulfide contains 32 gram of sulfur. So 24.35 gram of zinc blend contains, we'll do the unitary method, we will just cross it, and we will get 24.35 gram into 32 gram divided by 97.4 gram, will get 8 gram of sulfur. So question of one answer we have got. So amount of sulfur, how much? It is 8 gram of sulfur is present in 24.35 gram of zinc sulfide, zinc blende. It is asking only amount of sulfur present in. So we have got 24.35 gram of zinc sulfide, zinc blend contains 8 gram of sulfur. Now again it is asking calculate the percentage of sulfur by weight in 24.3 gram of pure zinc blend. So percentage will be same if you use either of the formulas. Percentage you can calculate by just the molecular formula also, molecular formula and mass of sulfur, that is 32 gram. From there also percentage can be calculated. So before this only you would have calculated the percentage, but specifically I have written to calculate the percentage of sulfur by weight in 24.3 gram of pure zinc blend. So it is preferred to calculate the percentage after getting the amount of sulfur. Okay. So some of the students have calculated just the percentage of sulfur. So it is good if you calculate the sulfur with respect to 8 gram of sulfur in 24.35 gram of zinc sulfide or zinc blend sample. So by using the formula, the second formula, that, so this one answer we have got. Now we can just write percentage of sulfur in 24 in, just you can write zinc sulfide sample. Why we have written? Because sample is how much? For 24.3 gram. So here we can just write given mass of sulfur in zinc blend sample divided by total mass of zinc blend sample into 100. So given mass of sulfur is how much? We have got 8 grams. Now we have got in 24.35 gram of zinc sulfide or zinc blend sample. So 8 gram divided by total mass of zinc sulfide sample is how much? 24. It is asking to calculate the percentage of sulfur in 24.3 gram of pure zinc. So the 8 grams divided by 24.35 gram into 100, and we will get here 32.85%. So we have got the percentage of sulfur in 24.35 gram of zinc blend sample, that is equal to 32.85%. So we have calculated the amount of sulfur, that is 8 gram of sulfur present in 24.35 gram of pure zinc blend also. We will see once again. We will first find out the molecular mass of ZnS. From that we will find out the molar mass, and from molar mass we will get the total mass of zinc and total mass of sulfur. Because it is asking to find of amount of sulfur in 24.3 gram of pure zinc blend, so we will write one sentence that 97.4 gram of zinc blend contains 32 gram of sulfur. So 24.3 gram of pure zinc blend contains how much gram of sulfur? So we got 8 gram of sulfur, and from that the percentage we have got. Percentage of sulfur we will get by dividing 8 gram of sulfur with 24.35 gram of zinc sulfide, zinc blend, into 100. We will get 32.85% of sulfur. Okay. The next question was write two equations to calculate percentage compositions of compound. So two equations I gave you. Two equations where first one is percentage mass of element in a compound is equal to total mass of that element divided by molecular mass of the compound into 100. If it is just asking to find out the percentage mass of element present in a compound, so you have to find out the molecular mass of compound, and from that you calculate the total mass of element. Put the values here into 100, you will get the percentage mass of the individual element in a compound. Now second equation was percentage mass of X element in a given amount of compound sample. If you are given certain amount of compound sample, and in that certain amount of compound sample you are asked to find out the percentage mass of the individual element, so in that case you can use this equation. So it goes like, it is equal to total mass of X element, okay, into 100 divided by given mass of compound sample. Okay, so from that you will get the percentage mass of individual element in that compound sample. So these were the two equations. Depending upon the question, you have to use either of the two equations. Okay, thank you.